Well, it certainly comes as a very decisive topic in the world of sci-fi on what is a good aliens movie or not. It's certainly an amazingly incredible franchise that certainly has some fucking stellar ass examples. Now, I'm firmly on the side that I actually fucking love Alien Resurrection. It's a stellar sci-fi movie in its own right. And although it may not have been the greatest alien movie of all time, as many people expected it would be when it came out, it certainly stands on its own, especially after all this time. It's fucking more than worth a watch through, especially if you love aliens and the world itself. Now, this movie is home to many great and brutal deaths, but there is one that champions all of it, and actually, in my opinion, one of the most fucking brutal and horrible deaths in all of cinema. Just for the production value alone, Aliens Resurrection is actually a great movie. There's tons and tons of fanfare in this movie. There's some a little bit more brutal scenes from the series, and it's quite a bit more darker. It's kind of like a combination of Aliens 3 and Aliens 2, in my opinion, but it kind of stands way above Aliens 3 and firmly puts itself in one of the top Alien movies for me. It's a unique take on the universe and it has some stellar scenes like the scene of the aliens escaping after killing their cellmate, so to speak. It's just fabulous and it truly owes to tons of the alien lore, this event. Also has another scene where a soldier goes in to check on the alien and the alien sneaks in and presses the fucking liquid nitrogen or freeze button and just freezes the guy solid and he fucking breaks apart while being freeze. You can literally feel the effects and um, look of it all is very top notch. So all in all, I would say the Alien Resurrection is a great movie. Now, some of the reasons that people don't like it is it does kind of drag at some parts. Some of the characters are very unlikable. Some of the choices are extreme. I think personally, Ripley and is just not very likable in this. There's something about her. I don't know if it's the alien DNA thing they got going on, but it certainly doesn't do it for me, and probably many other people's. But if you can just get past that as like whatever, most of the other parts of the movie, I would say, is stellar. It also comes with plenty of interesting design choices. Now, one of those is an actual freak accident where one of the characters where you would totally assume is the captain of the ship, played by the fantastic Michael Wincott. Just out of the blue, basically less than halfway through the movie, what you would assume would be the main hero protagonist male in this movie, just suddenly out of nowhere, just uh, simply gets fucking slain by the alien, and it's a wicked scene too because there's so much tension and there's so much like how is he gonna fight off, and he just feels so heroic, but then he is just killed off in such a unceremonious way. And at first I thought the alien crippled his legs, but actually what it does is kills him through his chest and basically gives this main character just a helpless death. And that's not all. There's plenty of epic deaths in this movie, but one of the most out of the blue and hilarious one comes from a little bit later in the movie, where there's a chest burster within another guy, and there's all kinds of drama going on. And basically, what he does, it's fucking awesome, is seeing that this thing's gonna come out of him for whatever reason, he runs up and he grabs the other guy, and the chest burster goes through his stomach and out through the other guy's head. It's a stellar scene, and it has a lot of creativity in it, and that's what I think is so interesting about Alien Resurrection. There's plenty of creativity in this movie, and they did a good job. But it's heart wrenching to know that it absolutely bombed and killed the Aliens franchise off for pretty good amount of time, but like all amazing franchises, it was only a matter of time before they continued making more of it. But our main event, the death that caused me just so much shudder, and to this day even makes me shudder on a deeply, deeply psychological level. Involves when we get around to this alien human hybrid thing that spawns out of this queen, almost like a modified queen. It seems to have given birth, and theoretically this is like a new species, kind of like what they do in the new ones. So anyways, one of this weird scientist dude is all trapped up in this cocoon of this fucking alien matter, and what happens to him is quite horrifying, so we're gonna break it down for you. Now after we're horribly creeped out by the thing fucking giving full on frontal to Ripley here, the guy stupidly coaxes the fucking thing to come see him, and immediately you know that something's gonna go wrong. Is it an ugly scene? Of course it's an ugly scene, and it's one of the ones that is just leaves you feeling with that disgusting feeling in your stomach. Jesus Christ, could you ever think of a more worse way to go than to be stuck in a whole bunch of alien things and the thing just bites your literal head off? It really doesn't even go bear to witness, just to think of how bad that is. Now, he's such a weird fucker that he probably wouldn't even care anyway, but for most people, ugh, what a bad way to go. And the alien doesn't get off much easier in either, as it shortly after gets sucked into a fucking hole in the ship's hull, and it gets like evaporated through a window. It's another tragically horrifying scene, but I mean, you don't feel as bad because it's this weird creature. But this is the thought that this creature died without even knowing what it was or what its purpose was in such a terrible way. Oof, another chill moment. So now, how you feel about Alien Resurrection, you can certainly take pleasure in the fact of knowing that it's a pretty stellar sci-fi action romp to just go load up and have a look at. But I mean, overall, it seems seemingly an underappreciated gem, and one of the ones that stands out in the annals of fucking alien movies, and has some pretty horrible deaths. Now, there is another notable mention in this movie, and that is the stellar performance that Ron Perlman gives, and is very underappreciated for just how believable he feels like a, a space roughneck in this awesome, awesome, awesome role of his. Like, really is a breakout role for him. So, hats off to Ron Perlman and true love to Ron Perlman, because you get lots of Ron Perlman greatness in this movie. If anything, just to see him kiss this cripple at the end when they go to back to the post-apocalyptic Earth.